Hello everyone. Today with Maria Paz and Valentina, we are going to talk about foreign language anxiety and some tips to deal with it. So moving on. First we have the today's agenda. We are going to talk about what is anxiety and specifically foreign language anxiety. Also, how teachers can approach this foreign language anxiety and tips to manage foreign language anxiety. So first, we need to know what is anxiety, and here we have like the definition of some writers. You can see the first one says that it's a feeling of tension, apprehension, nervousness, and worry associated with an arousal of the nervous system. And Scoble says that it's a psychological construct, a state of apprehension, a vague fear that is only indirectly associated with an object. But we are going to focus more in like when anxiety is present in the class, and we chose this topic mainly because we the three of us have felt anxiety in some point of our lives, or in classroom, or when we have to talk in English mainly. So moving on. So there are three types of foreign language anxiety. First, we have the communication apprehension, the test anxiety, and the fear of negative evaluation that are present when we are talking in English, or when we have to have some evaluations related to the English speaking. Moving on.
So how should teachers approach this problem? Well, first, since teachers are the mediators of the classroom and they are able to change the dynamics and feel of the class, they play a big role in the solution of this problem. To begin with, foreign language teachers should educate themselves on the existence of FLA in order to make the necessary changes to improve the students' learning experience. So what can teachers do to deal with this problem and even prevent it from happening in the first place? So to prevent it, there are two things teachers can do. The first is create an appropriate atmosphere for learning. The teacher needs to encourage the students and make sure they develop a good attitude towards expressing themselves in the language they're trying to learn. They need to provide instances for language use inside the classroom. And if the students have a healthy attitude towards learning, participation in the classroom and engagement will be higher. Therefore, the retention of the contents will be stronger. The second thing is teachers should create a support group inside the classroom. So if teachers let the students know that their classmates are in more or less the same situation, they will become less anxious about the second language learning aspect. So one of the teacher main's jobs is to make their class a cohesive group that supports each other, celebrates each other's successes, and learns from each other's mistakes. For example, the teacher can begin the unifying process of the classroom by making the class work as a whole instead of in many separate groups. Teachers can also encourage the students to help each other. This way they will slowly gain the confidence to open up to others, and they will feel more comfortable to the point where they won't see their classmates as a negative source of judgment, but as a helpful ally. So lastly, so what should teachers do if this problem is already present in the classroom? So the main thing they can do is to teach students or remind them that it's okay to make mistakes. Teachers should remind their students that making mistakes is a crucial step when learning a new language. Everybody makes mistakes, and everybody should and is expected to make them in order to learn from them. Teachers have to thoroughly convince their students that mistakes will actually make them better with the language.
So in the case that there are actually some students with anxiety, there are some tips to manage this type of anxiety. First, you have to seek one-on-one conversations, because it's way easier to speak with a friend than with a whole audience. And one way to reduce your nerves and gain control over the speed and direction of the conversation is to speak with someone you trust. And this can give you the time to gather your thoughts and to feel brave and to have a conversation that is suitable to your level. Second, learn to embrace your mistakes. When learning a language, mistakes are inevitable. By making mistakes, you increase the likelihood of remembering whatever grammar, pronunciation mistakes, or word mix-up you made. So you won't be making the same mistakes in the future if you embrace them, if you learn from them, hopefully. Give yourself some time. Don't allow other people to decide when you should start communicating in this new language. The decision has to come from you, and you have to start speaking when you feel confident and ready to do so. And also, everyone has a different timing. So maybe someone will learn faster, maybe you will learn in a different way. So that's important. So that is why we say you have to avoid comparing yourself to others. This won't do you any good. It can cause you to feel bad about how you're doing and your progress, and it will give you even more anxiety. It will cause you to feel bad about how you're doing, your progress, because there will always be someone doing better than you. And you have to understand that everyone's language journey is different, and you should focus only on yours. The last one is to practice and practice and practice even more. It might seem weird to tell a person who is afraid to talk in this new language, but practice really does make you more confident when it comes to speaking in a new language. Nobody expects you to be perfect. The more you try, the closer you will get to improve. So now we will show you a Jamboard we made with our classmates, where we wanted to ask them some questions. We can see how anxiety works different in different people. So first we asked them what makes them feel anxious. And here we have someone who said speaking about a topic that I don't manage in English. So maybe you can study, you can practice, for example. We have another one that says pronunciation and grammar mistakes, which is pretty common. I think everyone has felt anxious in that topic. Talking to someone who I think will judge me based on the way I speak, or not being able to learn basic life skills. So there are different ways we can feel anxious when we talk in a different language. And it's important to know that everyone has felt this way when talking in a new language. So everyone's feeling like this in some stage of their life. Then we asked, what do you do when you feel anxious? So some people said thinking being in a nice place. Others said pray. Breathing exercises, which they are actually some grounding techniques that some of our classmates made a video about it. So we encourage you to visit that video too. We also have focus on something to calm myself. So there are different ways to approach and to feel better when you're feeling this way. And the last questions are, what would be your advice for someone who may be feeling anxious, and in which way would you help your students overcome anxiety? So we also have different techniques here. We have, for example, distract their students, make them feel comfortable, which is something that actually should be always happening. Students should always feel comfortable on their class. Then we have some people saying that they would tell the other person to breathe. They would tell him or her that their life does not depend on a specific activity or evaluation, which is very important. And I think that's something you should always be reminding your students, because life is not only academic, but you should learn, and that should be your focus. So, in conclusion, well, as you may be able to realize, there are many types of anxiety of this topic, and as there are many types of anxiety and symptoms, there are different strategies to cope with them. As future teachers, it is very important to learn how to recognize them, which way is better to help us realize and help how to help our students or even ourselves, how to deal with it, so it doesn't interfere with our teaching or with their learning. It is also necessary to acknowledge the different ways in which we can help our students recognize and handle their symptoms on their own, because it's something that will happen in every stage of their life, and maybe not only with a foreign language, but in every other topic. Our classes should always have a comfortable environment for our students, a safe place where they can learn and communicate with confidence. For some, it is something easy to achieve. Others may need our help so that they can take every opportunity to learn. We should always focus on having this nice environment and try to avoid having students with anxiety. But it's something that could be possible, so we should learn how to help them when it happens. Thank you for watching our video. We hope you have a very nice day. Bye.
Bye.
If you want more information, here we have our different sources so you can learn more about anxiety and how to deal with it.